I never liked being the kind of guy to always bring bad news to people. Our good friend, Raymond throughout the YouTube community, he is known as TheRaymond86, has recently departed from us. Ray was an outstanding man who loved people and sometimes were afflicted by their problems. He did what most would do, and that's figuring out a way to ease the burden by supporting them the best way he knows how. I've been friends with him for 5 years, and he has always been an upright man to do his best to be pleasing to the Lord. Ray has a charismatic gift of prophecy, revelation, dreams, and visions, and he never was the man to always use that for money. He didn't really trade. He's not the type of guy to trade in his gifts or be a man of greed. Ray sometimes would tell me how honorable it was to have good friends in his life that would comfort him, make him laugh whenever he was down. One man he spoke often of was Raymond. Another lady that he called his mother was Kim. Now there are countless others, but I don't remember their names, but I know that he treasured them so much. And I know that it saddens us that he left us so early. I can't say anything bad about Ray because there's nothing rude or twisted about him. Unlike the few online who post degrading videos about him, calling him a false prophet or money hungry, to be honest with you, they are simply wrong. Not once has he ever came across to be that sort of guy, neither to me nor his friends. Knowing this man's fruits, many can attest that he has a delightful character. He was like an angel who seeks to help mankind, providing justice, and he was in constant fasting and prayer, including sharing the love of Christ, not just with his words, but thriving for righteousness in his actions. It's easy to say something about anybody, especially if you haven't walked in their shoes. Outside personalities will always be a target to immature people, but individuals who are equipped with wisdom will acknowledge the need to be sympathetic. But when you are a friend to them, they become transparent. And Ray will often expose himself to me, his friends, and to the world. He didn't live his life in a box. Neither did he categorize people or judge them. He loved them with every fiber of his being. I remember the first couple of weeks when I was talking to Ray, and we was like talking almost every day. And I remember one time I asked him, like, how was it in Virginia? And I still remember it. He was like, man, it's just like Milwaukee. I was like, oh, really? I'm like, wow. And so like the next couple of like days later, I was like, hey, have you been to Milwaukee before? Like, have you ever like visited around? He was like, no. I'm like, wait a minute, why did you say it look? Ray was that dude, man. Like, his sense of humor was superb. A couple of months after talking to Ray, he knew about I was facing eviction, and without him even judging me or even asking me questions, he just asked me, how much do you need? And I'm like, I'm not that kind of dude to just up and take your money like that. Like, that's not me, man. He was like, no, and he was just so persuasive on just really helping me not to be on the streets. And this man actually gave me, I'm not going to say the amount, but he gave me a few hundreds. And this never happened before with anybody. Raymond has always been that supportive man. Whether if he was down and out, he would try to do his best to sacrifice what he has for you. In Galatians chapter 6, verses 2, it says, carry each other's burdens, and in this way, you will fulfill the law of Christ. That was the kind of man he was. And for 5 years, nothing changed about this godly character that he possessed. I miss Ray. His laughter, the jokes. There were certain revelations that he would share. Sometimes there were things I pondered on, and it was like God would expose it to him and he would share it with me. Many who were close to Ray knew about his trip to Washington and the disgrace that he endured while he was there. I never in my life heard him being so distraught since the time we talked. And if we didn't talk every day, it would be at least once a week or a few times a month. But I know that he was a busy man. Ray would sometimes call me just to see how my family is doing. And I know that he also done this to a few people that he loved. And there's nothing bad about Ray. Like, I can't really name anything bad about him. Sometimes he didn't want to talk because of things that he was going through, and he would ask for me to intercede or pray for him. And I know that those who were close to him also did the same. Ray was a good friend. He was like a big brother to me. I remember like sending him, I would crop his head on a RoboCop's body, and I would send it to him. He would just be laughing. I called it Robo Ray. Well, I told him, like, one of these days we're gonna go to LA and we're gonna dress in all red and we're gonna crip walk down Crenshaw and stuff. So he like, he was that man. Like, he had a strong sense of humor. And I know I'm gonna miss him. I met a few interesting people in my life, and I'm not just saying this since he's gone, but he was the kind of guy who was never prejudiced or biased towards anyone. Imperfections is within us all, and the struggles of a single man can be hard, but his faith in his friend Christ was impenetrable. Raymond Carrington, known as the Raymond86, born a hero, died a legend. In the description box below, I'll place his obituary, and below that, his YouTube channel. And if you have time, please pray for his friends and families. Information about how he passed away is not important, so I would not be disclosing that information. But treasuring this man's legacy of being obedient, a blessing, and a faithful friend he has been to all of us. Take care, everyone.